Now, story time is over. Got to go out and scout some locations for Clair's session tomorrow. So you're gonna come along and we're gonna check some fields and the lake and some other areas that we use and find out whether or not they're gonna work for tomorrow. The thing about shooting outside is you never know what it's gonna look like. People cut things down, trees bloom at different times, water levels are at different heights on any given day, so we gotta go see the day before sessions what things look like. So just about every day before session, this is the deal. Well, this will probably be a spot we use tomorrow. This field behind me is obviously in full bloom and just absolutely gorgeous. So she wants to shoot with flowers. You don't get much more flowers than this actually at this time of year. All right, so obviously now I'm out at the lake. Dylan, just checking on the condition of the beach, what it looks like. Make sure it's not too junky. This place can get kind of nasty at different times of the year, especially if it's rained recently. A bunch of logs and stuff floats in. Sometimes this beach can get kind of gross, but there are definitely some spots and places here that we can use. The other thing I'm looking at is where the sun's gonna set. I've got this neat little app called Sunseeker. I'll show it to you in a minute when I get in the car. You can't really see it here in the sun, but it tells me actually where the sun's gonna set. So right now, obviously, the sun's way up in the sky, but the app tells me that you know, at 8 o'clock, the sun is gonna set right down over those hills. So right now, this time of year, it's a great time to come out here and shoot, especially sunsets, because it's over the water. We get the sunset and the colors reflecting off the water. Assuming tomorrow we have some clouds in the sky, sunsets, to be really gorgeous, need some clouds to kick that light off of. If it's completely clear, it's interesting, but it's not quite as nice. So we'll see what tomorrow does as to whether or not the sunset's gonna be awesome or not. But yeah, so this is a possibility, definitely on the list. It's clean enough for it. Now we're gonna head over to the dam area. I'm gonna make a couple stops on the way, but I'm gonna see what that looks like and how the sun's gonna line up for a sunset. That's one where the angle really matters as to whether or not you can see back out over the lake or not. So we're gonna check that out next. All right, so this is that Sunseeker app. You can see it gives you sort of the arc of the sun. And as I'm looking at it, you know, that right there, kind of difficult to see, it's not focusing, but right there's the sun right out in front of me, you know, way up there in the sky. This thing's gonna expose properly. And so this tells me that the sun's gonna set over there about 8 o'clock, which is that direction. So we'll get a view that looks like that for the shot, which is nice. So we'll use it. Now I am over near the loading dock, the boat loading dock, or the put-in dock. Here, this is what I was talking about at the other spot here. So that nonsense of logs, that's what shows up from time to time when the water's been high and nothing's been cleared out. So last time we were here, this was actually really nice. There's a beach area down here. You can kind of see, right? Like you can tell where there would be a beach, but today and for tomorrow, just a bunch of driftwood. It's not really that nice. All right, so here's another field that we will use on occasion. I don't know what's going on the last couple of years. About this time, probably 3-4 years ago, this field was full of these beautiful orange wildflowers. There were butterflies everywhere. And then last year and this year, there's just been nothing. So I don't know if they're spraying out here, if something's gone through and killed all those flowers. I don't know what's going on. Sometimes there are yellow flowers here, but as you can see, obviously right now, there's just nothing that's really nice. Even the grass is just kind of ragged and disgusting. So another shot we won't use. One of the nice things I like about this actually are the pine trees sort of in the background. They make for a different texture in the background, a different look. So we can get those sort of girl in a field shots, as we call them. It just has a different feel to it as a result. But there's nothing pretty here, nothing nice, nothing out of the ordinary, so we won't be using it. On to the next location. All right, so this is another of my all-time favorite locations. If you followed us on Instagram or the website or anything, if you follow our work at all, you've probably seen a number of shots out here, particularly at sunset. I just love shooting on this sort of rock wall out back over the lake with the sun setting over the trees. You know, again, if we follow the arc of the sun that we had earlier, you know, the sun's right now outside of your screen, but it's right up there and it's gonna set right over there. So we can take a shot, you know, put somebody on the rocks, shoot down the rocks. If we get out towards the edge of it, we see more and more. The further that way we go, the more and more of the lake you see. And so if it's a nice sunset, it's going to again reflect off the water, assuming the water is still enough for that. If it's fall, the sun actually moves more and more that way, and so we actually shoot back that direction, which isn't nearly as nice. So sessions at this time of the year, if we're going to shoot sunset shots, this is one of the nicest places to shoot that. I don't shoot a lot of them. One of the things we try to do is give everybody different locations. So we'll shoot it a couple times this year, and that's it. And then we'll just have to find other ways to make interesting shots for other people. But this is definitely one, depending on what the sunset does tomorrow, that we can keep on the list. We're not dependent here on wildflowers or anything blooming, or really even grass. Obviously, we just got sort of dark black rocks, which make for a really interesting texture. And the water behind it, which is always water. So, yep, definitely on the list. There are, in reality, an endless number of places to shoot out here at Dillon. Those are just some of the highlights. We're particularly interested tomorrow in a sunset. We'll be out here at the end of the session. So the spots we looked at today are geared towards that. If we were out here to shoot in the woods or on trails or you know, anywhere else, that we would spend a lot more time here hiking around, looking for spots. But that's all we need from here today. So we're gonna head off, go look at a river.
I know the book, start from the pain, I just wanna,
All right, so down at Dillon Falls, if you're in the area, you know where that is. It's called Dillon Falls because back here there are a bunch of little rapids, falls area. And I'm gonna try and not slip into the water. That would be a mess. I'd be all right, but I don't know if the gear would survive. Bunch of bugs out already. The water is a little higher than I typically like it. We're gonna see what there is down here to shoot. The falls that are back through the woods that way. This is just a little offshoot where the water is a little shallower, a little slower, a little safer. If the water is really low, we will wade out into the falls, but at the moment it's probably a little high to make that real safe. One, for us and her, but also for the equipment. A lot of times when we shoot here, we end up sitting with lights actually in the water, and if it's too high and fast, we risk tipping those things over. Obviously, if flashes and lights and things fall in the water, they're done. So we probably won't do that. We'll probably just end up in this area, which, as you can tell, is gorgeous. There's nothing wrong with shooting right here. It's still shallow enough that it's safe to get out there. So this is definitely a spot we'll keep on the list for tomorrow. We probably will end up here. She definitely wants to be in the water somewhere, and this is a great spot for it. The reality is, at this time of year, there's just not a ton of flowers out there wild. So wildflowers in the fields. I mean, you've seen most of the fields are not grown up yet. The options are basically, you know, that one field of yellow flowers, which is really nice, and we're going to use it. It's going to be gorgeous. It always is. But if you really want sort of color and flowers, you're stuck with gardens. And obviously in our area, that means Mission Oaks. It's one of the most popular places to shoot for a good reason. It's gorgeous. It's got a lot here. I don't shoot it a lot. I kind of shy away from it for the reason that I mentioned earlier. Try as best as possible to give people new and different and unique places. So even when I shoot in Mission Oaks, I try to find ways to shoot it that aren't normal, that aren't typical. Shoot from angles and in locations and using backdrops that you haven't seen before, or you can't even tell that it's Mission Oaks. So one of those places is right here with these rhododendron. They're gorgeous, really nice. Try to shoot so that you can't tell that that's actually in Mission Oaks. So we're just gonna kind of walk around here and see what else is in bloom that we might take advantage of tomorrow. So this guy is kind of interesting. It has some possibility. I don't know what to do with it. One of the problems obviously is as you step back here, it's kind of blown out, but back in that area, there are houses. Obviously you don't want that in your background. Quick run through Mission Oaks. We've got rhododendron we can shoot. And then I don't know the name of that other plant that was up by the gazebo. So that's two spots, two flowers, different, look different. So probably worth jumping over here tomorrow and trying to make something of it. Try to get creative with angles and lighting and various techniques to try to eliminate the houses from the background like I showed you, but we'll make it work. So I think we're done for the day. Got a good idea of a number of different places to go make some photos. We're actually gonna start out at her house, I think. So I will see you tomorrow. I'm gonna go home and start cleaning gear.